Hello everybody! In today's video, we'll be reviewing the Epomaker GK73 keyboard. It sits around 89 USD. It's a optical hotswappable keyboard, which is great. It means that you can change the keys to whatever you like, as long as the switch is an optical switch. The thing about optical switches, they work differently from the normal switches that we're used to in keyboards. So it basically breaks this laser point between two contact on the keyboard, and that's how it sends a key press. And presumably, this makes the keyboard last a lot longer compared to regular mechanical keyboards, but I'm not really sure about that. I mean, it probably does because there's less things in contact and all that, but normal mechanical keyboards already last really long, so it's really a feat if you manage to break a mechanical keyboard. So I'm not really sure too much about longevity of optical keyboards. Although optical keyboards also claim that they have shorter actuation times and distances, but well, when I tried on Osu compared to a regular Cherry MX Red keyboard, it kind of felt the same. I can't really feel too much difference in actuation points or difference. So take that as you will. This is just my opinion. I'm not completely sure myself. I specifically am going to review this for Osu. I'm not going to play other rhythm games on this because I think it's better if I focus on one thing. I asked Epomaker to send me this keyboard for free. I'm not sponsored by them though. I'm not being paid. I just got a free review unit. I asked them for the keyboard and extra switches of different color like optical black, optical blue, optical brown, but I guess they just did not understand my request and sent me 3 different keyboards instead. But each of the keyboards they sent to me had different switches, so I guess I got what I wanted. I was looking for optical blues and optical browns and optical reds, but they sent me black, red, and brown instead. So I guess we're not gonna test clicky switches on Osu. The first thing that drew me into this keyboard was the layout. I don't have much space on my table, so that's why I'm looking for more compact keyboards and basically anything that has arrow keys, and I kind of quite like the numpad on full-size keyboards, so this keyboard looked like the perfect in-between for me. I rarely touch the F roll, so this looked great. Everything is squeezed together and it has everything I need. And that's what I thought at first glance. Okay, let's first talk about how this keyboard is like. So when I plug this keyboard into my computer, the first thing I noticed is that the light bleeds through the keycaps. I believe this means that the production quality of the keycaps are inconsistent because this doesn't happen to their GK61 keyboard. It doesn't bleed through the keycaps. I did try putting the keycaps of this keyboard into my GK61 and the light doesn't bleed through, so it's not that the one keyboard has brighter lights than the other, it's just the keycaps. You also notice on the GK73, 71, the S key and the F and J key don't bleed, so it really is just inconsistent keycap thickness. Another thing is that this keyboard has an elevation height of I think 5 degrees. There are no legs on the bottom of the keyboard, and this basically means you're stuck with that angle. Another thing to know about this keyboard is that it uses Esa Profile Keycaps. So these aren't cherry profile, the ones that are on most keyboards. These are DSA, which means that from the side view, all the keycaps look almost flat. It's really weird to type on. I don't really enjoy DSA, but I realized on Osu, I quite liked the profile. It's quite nice to play Osu with these. And that's all for the looks of the keyboard. I wish the keycaps didn't bleed, and yeah, that's about it. Alright, now for actually using this keyboard. So on paper, this condensed full-size keyboard seems like a great idea, except after a while you realize that it's not, because what it did was remove one set of keys in the keyboard. So now the backspace and enter and shift and everything is all closer by one key. So that really messed with my muscle memory, and not only that, I believe the question mark key and the apostrophe key is quite common. You use it a lot. So having it stuck in the FN layer and you have to press Shift FN, you want to use like question mark. That's not great. So yeah, it was not nice to type on because of that. Like the most simple sentences became difficult to type with this thing. Another thing that most people won't care about is that, well, I noticed that backspace that's closer to the 0 key is actually pretty good. It means that I need to move less, although when I first started using it, I keep hitting the numlock key instead. Now the problem lies on Osu. Where's the equal key on this keyboard? It's probably hidden somewhere on an FN layer, but I have no idea where it is. So how am I gonna write mode equals mania or BPM equals a certain number? I just don't know that anymore. The plus and minus key is only on a numpad, but this is numpad plus and minus. So it means that if you want to change offset for local map sets, you will have to rebind the keys to something else on Osu itself. And that was kind of annoying because I'm just like, oh, I want to change my offset, but I also don't really want to change my keybinds. That's probably mostly on me, but it's something to take note of. The equal key messed me up a lot more than, well, everything else because I just can't filter things by typing on Osu anymore. Alright, so another thing was keyboard. I believe this keyboard polls at
75 Hz.
I don't have a concrete way of testing the polling rate, but I did test it on Eterna and Osu for a bit, and I noticed that yeah, it starts doing that weird grid thing on 150 BPM, and it's not a consistent
75 Hz.
either. How I know it's not a consistent
75 Hz.
as well, it's not a straight line on Eterna. Well, you see here in this graph that my lines aren't a straight line, they're more like a waterfall kind of thing. That means that it's not consistently sending inputs at, well,
75 Hz.
There's actually an unstable delay between when it sends the input and when it doesn't. How that looks like on Osu is, well, the graph looks kind of normal, but then you realize that it actually are these bunch of lines on the hit error graph. But then the lines also deviate because it's inconsistently sending when the input is supposed to be sent. Calculating that in actual usage terms on Osu, it means that your hits are sent about I'll just show the number on screen. This is the latency on the keyboard, and well, because it's unstable too, well, this number is also not very stable. It could be later, it could be earlier, and that could make quite a difference between when you get a 300 or you get a 100 on Osu, because of the keyboard is just sending inputs a bit later, or well, yeah, I mean, best case scenario is sends it as early as possible, like 1 ms from when you press down the key, but then worst case scenario sends it way later than that, which is not a great thing. I'll talk more about polling rates and keyboards in another video, but yeah, that's basically it. Well, I don't explain how this method works. So in the end, do I recommend this keyboard for Osu? Well, for the most part, low polling rates don't really matter. It's more about player error than about the keyboard. It's more about the feel of the keyboard, if anything. Use practicality-wise is not the best thing on earth because of how the layout is different. I have no idea where the equal key is either. The hotswap functionality is great. This means that I can use this keyboard to play Osu with the red switches if I wanted, or well, do some endurance or strength training with the black switches, or I can just put in 4 keys of browns on different spots to play mana with it, so I don't need to keep switching out keyboards each time I play something else. In the end, I still kind of like this keyboard, but I don't really like it. It had the idea behind it, but I just didn't do it well. If you're looking for a hotswappable keyboard that's optical, I recommend looking at the more practical options they have, which would be their 60% layout or their 65% layout. If anything, just look for a keyboard that feels good for you, and I do like the hotswappable component of this keyboard, which is the whole reason why I was interested in the first place. And it looks very nice as a keyboard. I don't really like the light bleeding, and well, the keyboard, frankly, it sounds like shit. I don't like it. Although, because it's hot swappable, it means it's easier to take out switches and to loop them, and then well, work with the stabilizers, and it sounds so much better after doing the modifications. Like, just hear this. So yeah, that's it for my keyboard review. It's 90 USD. It's actually pretty affordable for a hotswap keyboard. So yeah, whether or not you should buy this, I'll leave it up to you guys. And optical switches, hotswap, that's pretty nice. But the layout wise, not really. Does it look pretty? Yep. Well, yeah, that's it for my review. Yay. Here's a play. It's nothing great, by the way. I won't talk about how the switches feel. I can't really tell anymore. I do feel that blacks are a bit heavier and I get more tired on them. I don't like using browns on Osu standard, so yeah. I haven't played in so long, I can't even tell, but well, all I can do is talk about the keyboard. And also, I believe there's a Bluetooth mode, but I really don't recommend using Bluetooth on Osu, so yeah. I remember this. Wait, this is less than a minute, and if I'm not wrong, this entire thing is like streams. 200 BPM streams, but they don't feel like 200 BPM. I beat my own score. Holy shit.